A little harder to compass is the danger that we can give up on life also by presuming to understand it. That is, by reducing it to the terms of our understanding and by treating it as predictable or mechanical. The most radical influence of reductive science has been the virtually universal adoption of the idea that the world, its creatures, and all the parts of its creatures are machines. That is, that there is no difference between creature and artifice, birth and manufacture, thought and computation. Our language, wherever it is used, is now almost invariably conditioned by the assumption that fleshly bodies are machines full of mechanisms, fully compatible with the mechanisms of medicine, industry, and commerce, and that minds are computers fully compatible with electronic technology. This may have begun as a metaphor, but in the language as it is used and as it affects industrial practice, it has evolved from metaphor through equation to identification. And this usage institutionalizes the human wish, or the sin of wishing, that life might be, or might be made to be, predictable. I have read of Werner Heisenberg's principle that whenever one treats living organisms as physiochemical systems, they must necessarily behave as such. I am not competent to have an opinion about the truth of that. I do feel able to say that whenever one treats living organisms as machines, they must necessarily be perceived to behave as such. And I can see that the proposition is reversible. Whenever one perceives living organisms as machines, they must necessarily be treated as such. William Blake made the same point earlier in this age of reduction and affliction. What seems to be is, to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequences to those to whom it seems to be. For quite a while it has been possible for a free and thoughtful person to see that to treat life as mechanical or predictable or understandable is to reduce it. Now, almost suddenly, it is becoming clear that to reduce life to the scope of our understanding, whatever model we use, is inevitably to enslave it, make property of it, and put it up for sale. This is to give up on life, to carry it beyond change and redemption, and to increase the proximity of despair. At this point, I can only declare myself. I think that the poet and scholar Kathleen Raine was correct in reminding us that life, like holiness, can be known only by being experienced. To experience is not to figure it out, or even to understand it, but to suffer it and rejoice in it as it is. In suffering it and rejoicing in it as it is, we know that we do not and cannot understand it completely. We know, moreover, that we do not wish to have it appropriated by somebody's claim to have understood it. Though we have life, it is beyond us. We do not know how we have it or why. We do not know what is going to happen to it or to us. It is not predictable. Though we can destroy it, we cannot make it. It cannot, except by reduction and the grave risk of damage, be controlled. It is, as Blake said, holy.